What's going on, guys? Doing a rare video this week because it's Thanksgiving, and I have some time. So heading into week 13 of the NFL already, it's crazy that the season is once again flying by as it always does. Last week was a weird week. I feel like you either did very well last week or not, and it wasn't by much. There's a lot of games that fell kind of right on the number. Half a point there. Pushes. I had 2 pushes last week because I had whole numbers. I had Arizona +3 and Kansas City -3, so a couple of pushes. It was a funny week, but and I think 3 overtime games too. So pretty good week. But just my only loss was I took Pittsburgh money line last week. But guys, the season's been good. Rebound from last season. I'm right around 60% this year. I think I'm 26-17 against the spread. I gotta get some protein in me here. So I'm actually gonna go through a few games. Thanksgiving, 3 games. And I actually usually for Thanksgiving I don't like the games, but they're actually pretty intriguing in terms of betting this year. Surprisingly, usually they're just a lot of crappy games, but some good matchups here. So I'm going to go through these ones quickly. First game, Packers and Lions. So I think this line opened up -3. It's now down to 2.5. And I don't know. For me, I look at that number. I don't know if it's a sucker bet, but I kind of want to take Detroit -2.5. I just think the Lions, they haven't looked as good, obviously, this season as they did last year. And they didn't look good on Sunday against the Giants. But I think a lot of the teams that play this Thursday didn't look good on Sunday just because I think it's a look-ahead spot. And the Lions had a big divisional game against Green Bay coming up, and they overlooked the Giants. It's the only thing I can think of because it's not like the Giants are any good. So at this number at 2.5, I think you have to play the Lions. Green Bay to me there's a lot of fraudulent teams this year, a lot of them. And I think Green Bay is kind of one of them. It's not like Jordan Love's looking good. I just think they're just Green Bay's a very mediocre team. And Detroit, I think, is in a way underperformed this season. The Lions at home in the Dome, Thanksgiving, it's hard not to play them. Now, here's an interesting stat. On Thanksgiving, favorites just do very well. I think since 2004, favorites 40-20 against the spread, 51-9 straight up, which is insane. Road favorites straight up, 25-1 straight up, 20-6 against the spread. So it's just a very chalky day. I think, that those are just some interesting trends. I just think you lay it here, and I think teams that are 10 points or more favored are 10-0 against the spread. It's absolutely insane. So I think the Lions, this is just a good spot for them. Division game, it's an enormous game. Chicago's plays Friday. I would assume they're going to lose against Philadelphia. So Detroit's looking like we got to get back in the driver's seat in the North. And Green Bay's, obviously thinking the same thing. Should be a good game. I just laying it with Detroit. I think Green Bay played there 2 years ago, and they had a surprising win. This was 2023 when the Lions were really good. And Green Bay, I'm pretty sure, I think they won that game. And I just think this is maybe a bit of they remember that from a couple of years ago. You don't want to lose at home, Thanksgiving. So I would lay it with Detroit. Get back on track. I think they'll score some points too in this game. Next game, Dallas and Kansas City. This line, I think, was Kansas City -3.5. It's now around a -3 against Dallas. And I don't know, so as I said, road favorites 25-1 against the spreads over the last 20 years. But teams coming off, whatever this means, but teams coming off an overtime game, which Kansas City had on a short week on the road, are 6-20 against the spread in the last 26. So I think this game here is just a straight numbers game. I think if you like Dallas, you got to grab 3, or you can shop around and find a 3.5. Otherwise, if it gets down to 2.5, I think you have to start looking on the Kansas City side. Dallas, what we do know is that they can score, and their defense has improved the last couple of weeks. Now, they played the Raiders 2 weeks ago, so whatever. They're the worst team in football. But they played Philly last week, and I felt like when they got behind 21-0, their defense kind of kept them around and gave their offense a chance. In Kansas City, as we know, they're just not the same team. Like, I had them last week against Indy. I really thought it was a push. I really thought they would get the cover. But they just don't have that explosiveness. Now, Mahomes on a primetime Thanksgiving game, in Dallas, it's like, I could see Kansas City winning this game and covering. But at the same time, if Dallas can just play somewhat decent on defense, I think they can move the ball here against this Kansas City D. I think they can put up 27 points, So I think, I honestly, at +3, +3.5, the lean is to Dallas. It's not as strong of a play as Detroit, but I do kind of like the Cowboys here again. Another interesting trend. Since 2001, the Lions and Cowboys on Thanksgiving have not covered in the same year, which is nuts. Like Detroit and Dallas, they always play every year on Thanksgiving, and it hasn't happened once where both teams covered. But mind you, 20 of those years, Detroit was complete ass. So, in the last game, this is probably one of my favorite. Well, I think certainly my favorite for Thanksgiving is Cincinnati and Baltimore. I do like the Bengals here. I mean, this one was 7.5. I didn't grab it. I should have grabbed it. I guess I could buy it up. Even at 7, though, and I think this number, I would not be surprised if it goes to 6.5 at all. I like the Bengals here. Joe Burrow's coming back. Jamar Chase, I'm pretty sure, is back from spitting on people. In Baltimore, they're 6-5. They're probably going to go on to win this division, but it's not like they've looked good in their wins over the last few weeks. Lamar doesn't look healthy. The Ravens are just, they're getting wins, but they're not winning in convincing style. Cincinnati, to me, their defense is terrible, and I think that's why you're still getting a lot of points with them. But division game, prime time, the Bengals are 4-8, so I feel like this is like the same thing as last year, where they had a terrible record, but they can still somehow maneuver their way, win out, and get into the playoffs. I think they finished 9-8 last year, and it was kind of the same kind of situation that they're in. With the Burrow coming back, this division's kind of in a way. I mean, you think about it, if Cincinnati wins this game, they're only one game back. Like crazy, they would be 5-8, and I believe they're 5-8, 6-6, something like that. Baltimore would be 6-6. Since he hasn't had their bye yet, but they kind of be right there. And Pittsburgh's probably going to lose this week as well against Buffalo. So I don't know, weird game, but I do like Cincinnati. I like the Cats. What else we got here? Niners and Browns. I'm really looking Cleveland's way. This line was 6 for San Fran. It's down to 5.5, maybe because of they won last night on Monday night. But Cleveland, I'll take points at home with Cleveland any day of the week because they have a good defense. So I think that's a sharp play, taking Cleveland. Texans and Colts. I think this one is, you're going to see this line open up at 3.5. It's up to 4.5 now for Indy. I think the sharp side is probably Indy. I think Houston right now, people are they're at their high point. Like they kind of like Houston. Stroud's coming back. They're 6-5. They're also fighting for a playoff spot. Colts losing last week. Sharp money is obviously coming on Indy to bump this number up. Colts are a good team at home, and the hard part about this game is Houston has the number 1 defense in the league, and you're getting points with the number 1 defense. I think it's tempting to take Houston, especially in a division game. You expect a close game. I don't know if I'm going to play this game, but it's kind of a limp number too, like 3.5, 4.5. I think the Colts are probably the side. It is a tough one to bet, though, no question. What other? Falcons and Jets. This one I think was open -1, 1.5. Sharp money took Atlanta. It's up to 2.5 now. Damn. Atlanta's not a team I ever want to lay points with, especially on the road. And the Jets, although they're 2-9 and they're terrible, at least they're competitive every week. And I don't know what their spread record is, but I feel like they at least keep it close. Like, honestly, you could sprinkle some on the Jets money line. I'm not taking Kirk Cousins in the Falcons. Like, this team is complete shit. That's all of them. Bills, Steelers. I think Bills are 3.5. Buffalo, we have to kind of make a decision. You know, like if they don't win and cover this week against the Steelers, the markets could crash on these guys real quick. And I think Sean McDermott's got to go. Like, they got to get rid of the coach. But I don't know, man. Like, Buffalo has issues. It's just hard to take Pittsburgh right now because, you know, Mason Rudolph. That's pretty much all you need to know. So I took Pittsburgh last week, but it was his first start. I liked him in his first start. If I'm playing that game, you know, I'm going Buffalo's way for sure. But guys, Thanksgiving special, Lions. I like Lions. I like Bengals, and Cowboys and Chiefs. I don't know. I have to think about that one. If I can get a 3.5, I'm probably taking Dallas. And if I get a 2.5, I'd probably lean Kansas City. This is purely a numbers game. Dallas just kind of impressed me in the sense that they're a freaking good home team, and they can score. You know, like they're now at 5-5-1. You know, you can kind of see this team finding a way into the playoffs and then losing. So that's it, guys. Like, subscribe, Patreon, sign up. I'll leave the link in the description. You'll get my official plays there. And guys, like I said, I've been killing it. I had my first 2 weeks of the season were losing weeks, and then I had 7 consecutive winning weeks, and then a down week 2 weeks ago, and a winning week or 3 weeks ago, and then I bounced back with a 3-1 week 2 weeks ago, and a 2-1 week with 2 pushes last week. So it's been good. I think of the 12 weeks, 9 of them have been, you know, a quote unquote winning week, 2-1, 3-1, that kind of thing, and we're sitting good this year. So let's keep it rolling. And I'll see you in the next video, which it could be whenever. I don't know. We'll see. It could be a while. So follow on the Patreon for my official plays.